A 63-run loss in a T20 game is equivalent to a 150-run loss in an ODI. And in Test cricket terms, you can call it like an innings defeat. We've probably had our first one-sided game in this year's IPL. All the games so far have been pretty close, some really close, but this one was an absolute one-sided game. CSK playing at home for the second time in a row, absolutely outclassing the Gujarat Titans, who were on the road. Um, Nothing went right for the Gujarat Titans. Absolutely everything went right for CSK. Sarvesh, you were texting me throughout the game and saying that, geez, this is looking really one-sided to an extent that it's probably boring to watch. Your first thoughts on this game?
Yes, till now we had games which went till the 19th over, or the margin of victory was 20 runs or less. And now, like you can see, it is 63 runs. And even if it says 63 runs, I mean, I felt GT was never in the game after that first innings. After that Shubman Gill dismissal, I think they were never in. They were just struggling. They were behind. And they were drifting away, and nobody could rescue that innings. I mean, that's the kind of game we had. So CSK were on top right from the first innings, and then they just they never let that they never let that game go away from them.
We often say that scorecards don't tell you the full story, but this scorecard tells you as it is and absolutely the perfect story. CSK 206 for 6 in 20 overs. Shivam Dubey, top scoring 51 of 23 deliveries, supported well by Rachin Ravindra, second time in a row, 46 of just 20 deliveries. When Rashid Khan goes for 49 in his 4 overs, that also tells you how bad a day it was for GT. And in response, you can see top scorer Sai Sudarshan 37, but those 37 came in 31 deliveries, which meant, as Sarvesh rightly pointed out, GT were never in this game. In the end, the result was just a formality, but the game was gone a long, long time back. Um, Sarvesh, if we look at where this game was won and lost, um, one of the first things I want to talk about is at the beginning of the season when CSK lost the services of Devon Conway, everybody was thinking he's that's going to affect CSK in a massive way. Conway had a stellar season with them, and he's been a very consistent performer for CSK for so long now. Um, but this young kid who they picked up in the auction um, has not only filled Devon Conway's boots, he's actually raised the bar to the next level. Because Conway, for the fantastic cricketer that he is, still wouldn't get you 46 runs
Yeah,
of 20 balls with six boundaries and three fours.
exactly.
Um, yeah, and so instead of actually losing something, it looks like it's a blessing in disguise,
Yeah.
and they've actually gained something out of this. What would you say on that?
Absolutely. So we have seen that in the past that even Conway is not somebody who will go from ball number one. He would take his own time, and then he would once he's in, he'll start getting those runs very quickly. And once he's in, he'll catch up. He will score at a strike rate of 170, 180, and even beyond that. So that's the kind of player Conway is. But as you rightly pointed out, Rachin Ravindra, he started going from ball number one. 20 balls for his 46 runs and 3 6s and 6 4s. So if you see the percentage out of those 20 balls, 9 of them were boundaries. So almost 50% of the balls that he played were converted into boundaries. I mean, if you have that kind of an opener who is going to give you such quick starts every game, I mean, he's been very consistent so far, and that is also allowing Rituraj Gaikwad to get in. And this is something any player would a player of player like Ruturaj, we all know what he can do once he's in, but somebody has to allow you that first 2 3 overs to play and get in. So I think Rachin Ravindra is allowing him to buy his time, and once Ruturaj is in, we know what he can do.
I mean, the beauty of it is that when Ruturaj Gaikwad is at the crease, it's not often that the player at the other end is more graceful than him.
Yeah.
It's very difficult for someone to be more graceful in stroke making than Ruturaj Gaikwad. But Rachin drives, Rachin flicks, Rachin cuts, Rachin pulls, Rachin hooks. He does everything. His game's an absolute all-round game. And with the new ball not doing much these days, there's hardly anything for him to watch out for. And he can absolutely, as you said, takes the attack to the bowlers from ball one. Um, with I mean, he's actually an all-rounder. We haven't yet seen him with the
Yeah.
ball because he actually has a third dimension to his, apart from the three catches that he picked up today. It's been an absolute stellar start for him, and CSK must be glad that it has kind of worked out the way it has. Um, let's just move attention to another left-hander down the order in that batting lineup by the name of Shivam Dube. Now, in the last game, we saw he played brilliantly to take his side home, showed maturity, showed calm, played out those short balls. Today, though, came in at the right time. Spinners were on. First ball for six, and just didn't look back after that. I mean, what a phenomenal turnaround for Shivam Dube and his stats in T20 cricket.
Yeah, he's just continuing from the last season. Normally, you see that some players they just taper off a bit when they are specialized in one particular role. But he, I think, even said in one of the interviews that you will see me hitting those sixes against the fast bowlers as well. So that tells you the kind of confidence he's carrying right now, because we all know what his stroke making is against the spinners, but he's now doing it against the seamers as well. We saw him doing it today against the faster bowlers, and he took on Spencer Johnson as well. So I think again this tells you that the confidence that he built from last season, he's just carrying on from there, and he's in fact building on that on the top of that. So again, 5 6s. If you're taking on opposition's main spinner, and that basically gives you that mental victory, that moral victory. So that's the kind of role that he has been playing, and I mean it's beyond numbers in my opinion. If you're taking on Rashid Khan, then the entire bowling attack of the opposition is going to look down. So so that's the kind of impact he's having right now.
I read a stat somewhere which said that since the beginning of 2022, there are only three players who scored in excess of 500 runs in the IPL at a strike rate which is phenomenal. The number one name on that list is Surya Kumar Yadav. The number two name on that list is Yashasvi
Yeah.
Jaiswal. And the third name on that list is that of Shivam Dube. I mean, that's a remarkable stat. And, we, at the end of the day, all of us fans, the IPL is great, but the big picture for all of us is that T20 World Cup. If he continues with this kind of performances in this IPL, uh, and with the pitches in the West Indies now being slow and helping spinners, he's definitely got to be in the reckoning for that T20 World Cup, isn't it?
Yeah, he should be in the reckoning. I mean, you cannot. I mean, these are still early days, but you cannot discard anyone. You cannot just pinpoint that okay, this guy is going to play. He's not going to play. You cannot do that. And Shivam Dube has been playing. I mean, not just IPL. I even told you about his Ranji performance this year. He scored 2 centuries. He in fact was bowling like a frontline seamer for Mumbai, and he in fact even captained Mumbai in one of the games when Ajinkya was not available due to hamstring injury. So I think he has been doing everything correctly even in domestic cricket, not just IPL cricket. IPL cricket is mainly highlighted because of the attention that it gets, but he has been doing it in Ranji as well, and he has performed excellently. I think he must have had his best season, best first class season for Mumbai. So he's one player who is in tremendous form right now, and like you rightly pointed out, he should be in the reckoning.
One last thing to discuss on that scorecard. Towards the end of that innings, when the whole crowd was expecting Mahendra Singh Dhoni to walk in walks in a young kid called Samir Rizvi. Again, first ball facing Rashid Khan, hits him, slog sweeps him straight out of the ground. Two balls later, he's down the wicket, dancing down to Rashid Khan. Now, I have been watching cricket for a long, long time, and not a lot of batters have the confidence to come down the wicket to Rashid because his fast arm action is very difficult and it doesn't allow you to get under the ball. Samir Rizvi, quick feet, comes down, smacks him over long off. We talk about youngsters being fearless, but this was some innings, wasn't it? Although it was only 14
Yeah.
of 6 balls.
Yeah, I'm actually glad that he got this opportunity to play, because you want your youngsters to come in and have that a game time early on in the season. You don't want your youngsters to come in when you are 6, 7 games down, and then after that, towards the business end of the tournament, you suddenly realize that your youngsters haven't spent a good amount of time in the middle. So that has not happened. I'm glad it has. He got to bat today, and he's. I mean, when you take on Rashid Khan like that, then your confidence must go really up from that point. So it was a very good in just 6 balls, but he showed what he can do. And you rightly pointed out that not a lot of players, not a lot of domestic players can do this. But there's something with these Indian domestic players. These guys play a lot of the domestic T20 cups, Sayyid Mustaq Ali Trophy, all the cups that the guys play. I think these guys know how to take on spin bowling. And this is just another example. Samir Rizvi, we know he can bat well against the spin, and I think when you do that against Rashid Khan, you don't need to say anything else. It just tells you that you are capable.
Yeah, so with that, 206 for 6. Let's have a quick glance at the bowling figures. As we said, nothing went right for GT today. Um, 1, 2, 3. The fifth column from the left-hand side, which is the economy rates, if you have a look at that, 10 for Azmatullah, Umesh Yadav at 13.5 runs and over, Rashid Khan at 12.3 runs and over, Sai Kishore at 9.3 runs and over, Spencer Johnson at 8.8, and Mohit Sharma at 9. That scorecard is tells you what it needs to tell you, that absolutely nothing. There wasn't a single bowler who was spared in that innings. And yeah, just a bad day in the office for all of them.
Yeah, one of the problems that GT might face is that they have Omar Zai and Umesh Yadav opening for them, and if one of these guys go for runs, then there is no other bowler who can come in and bowl inside power play. Mohit Sharma is not going to bowl inside power play. Spencer Johnson, as we all know, he bowls well with that fielding protection outside the circle. So there are not a lot of options. So if these guys go for plenty, like we just saw today, then there is no another option for them. They just have to keep going back to them, like we saw. These guys bowled 5 overs inside power play, and they went for 57, 58 runs. So that's the kind of problem that GT is going to have. They will have to find some answers, because you cannot just go back to Rashid Khan every time you are in a trouble. So this is something I feel they should look into. Find someone who can bowl for you inside power play, and then you will solve a lot of issues.
One last question for you, Sarvesh. Mohit Sharma normally finishes off. He bowls at the death from one end. But who is GT's death bowler? Because I have a funny feeling that that game against the Mumbai Indians, they were lucky to get away with it.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah,
You know,
exactly. I mean, that
It-
was
yeah,
that
they
was more of a madness from Mumbai's side. I mean, nothing to take away from the way these guys bowled and controlled the innings at the end. But what happened in those last 3, 4 overs was pure madness, and I think we don't see this happen a lot. And that day, I think that was one bad day in the office for Mumbai. We don't see this happen. I don't think we'll see this happen again in this season. So yeah, that it was that kind of a game. They got lucky, I would say. Again, not taking anything away from the way Mohit Sharma and company bowled, but yeah, like you rightly said, something clicked for them in that game, and but the problems are pretty much highlighted in this game.
perfect. Now we've already said that a 63 run loss means the game was horribly one-sided, as it can be seen from that scorecard. Um, if they had to chase down 207, they had to have a great start. And a great start, chasing a 200 plus score, is normally around 60 in the power play with maybe one wicket down.
Yeah,
But that didn't happen for them. And yeah, just wickets throughout the innings, never got a partnership going. And yeah, you look at Sai Sudarshan's innings also, 37 of 31. Is not the kind of innings you want when you're chasing 200 plus.
yeah,
I mean, a lot of things need to go right for you, and you need to have the perfect kind of balance. But yeah, they just never had that, and never found their way.
yeah. So Shubman Gill got out in a very known manner. He has been dismissed like this before, like we have seen. Even last season, I think it was Akash Madwal who dismissed him. I think he got him out, got him bowled out, I think, because that's the kind of he plays that shot really well, but sometimes he can underestimate the bounce. Sometimes he can. Its ball could be too full to play that kind of a back foot punch. But sometimes you can get bowled, you can get LBW like we saw today. So that is one thing I think Shubman Gill will have to work on. Then after that, Vridhiman Saha got hit on the helmet again, and next ball he got dismissed. We have seen this happen with Devdutt Padikkal before this season. Then Sai Sudarshan never got in. He was. It felt like he was trying to anchor the innings, but for anchoring the innings, you need somebody at the other end who can score runs for you. And his partner was Vijay Shankar. So I felt maybe they could have pushed David Miller up, and that would have allowed Sai Sudarshan to take those singles. But both those guys were taking singles. They were like that partnership went on for 21 runs from 18 balls. So if you're chasing 200 plus and if you're going just about run a ball, then it is not going to help, especially inside power play. And then I think it was just about finishing that innings and trying to get as close as possible to CSK score to save your net run rate. And you don't want to be in this position mainly in the second game of the season. You don't want to play for net run rate. That's the kind of innings GT face in the second innings.
GT has always had a formula with their batting. If we remember the last two seasons, it was Ridwan Saha at the top who used to give them that blazing start. Although it wasn't a lot, but he used to get them running quite quickly. Shubman Gill was the one who used to provide the big runs, the 400, 500, 600 plus seasons.
Yeah.
And then their engine room in the middle used to be David Miller, Rahul Tewatia, and to some extent Vijay Shankar coming in and finishing innings. And that's how they used to win those games.
Yeah.
If they want to get back to that, they've got to leave David Miller and Rahul Tewatia with a realistic kind of target in those last few overs. I mean, in the last 5 overs, even if they leave them 60, 65, 70 even, they are capable of getting those. But if you leave them, they come in with 100 to go or 120 to go, that's not going to help their cause. Not much to talk about more in that. Maybe a quick look at CSK's bowling card. Obviously, exactly opposite of GT's bowling card. So those economy rates there, 7, 7.5, 5.3 for Tushar Deshpande. Really seems to have hit the straps in this game because economy rate is not something that you associate a lot with the name of Tushar Deshpande, but he's really bowled a good line and length today. And even the Kiwi Daryl Mitchell getting a bowl today, rolling his arm over, picking up a wicket. Beautiful catch by Mahendra Singh Dhoni, rolling back the years there and taking a stunner. Um, the most impressive thing for me in all of this is Pathirana is back in the side.
Yeah.
And I saw one of his overs that they showed the speeds.
152.
He was clocking 150 plus in that over. So, we talk about Pathirana a lot. He's an important cog in the wheel for CSK. His comeback, he looks like whatever fitness issues he had are out of the door. And he's delivering. But then that's what Chennai do. Anytime anybody plays for Chennai, he looks like an absolute different player compared to what they do for any other side that they play for.
Yeah, there are plenty of examples here. You might never see Daryl Mitchell bowling for any other side, but he bowled today. Tushar Deshpande, he was not picked. I think he started. He was with Delhi Capitals earlier. We must have seen him bowling at 145, 146 at Delhi Capitals. It did not work out for him there. But now look at him. He's playing for CSK. He's performing. So I think CSK they know how to use some players. They know how to get the maximum out of some players. Nobody expected Ajinkya Rahane to play that way last season. Nobody expected that from Shivam Dubey. Tushar Deshpande. This season again, Mustafizur Rahman looks like a completely different bowler. He has played for so many franchises, but he has never looked like this for last 6-7 years. When he started, he was definitely a big force, but for last 5-6 years, I felt he has stepped off a bit. But again, he's back in form. He's performing, and all these guys. I mean, it's credit to them how the way they use these guys. I mean, it's brilliant. The tactics, strategy, and allowing these players to play as per their strengths. It's brilliant.
When you win by 63 runs and you are not playing some of your frontline players, like Mahesh Theekshana was an important player for them. He's not playing in this game. They've not played Mitchell Santner yet in the tournament. Yeah. They have also got somebody like a Shardul Thakur on the bench.
Moeen Ali is also sitting out.
Moeen Ali is sitting out. So when you're key people like that are on the bench and you're winning by 63 runs, Those are absolutely stunning signs. And I think the key of all this is that the start of all this is at that auction table. They select well, they back their players, and they get the best out of them. They give everybody role clarity, and there is consistency of selection, which is always there. So yeah, CSK on a roll, 2 wins out of two, picking up the maximum number of points. The good thing, apart from CSK, all the other teams in this tournament have so far who have played have won at least one game, which means they are at par, but CSK just sitting on top of everyone else. Tomorrow we have got Sunrisers Hyderabad taking on Sarvesh's Mumbai Indians. Another opportunity. Mumbai playing away from home again. They're playing in Hyderabad this time. So should be an interesting contest to see how that goes. Um, that's pretty much the story of tonight's game. Anything to add, Sarvesh, before we sign off?
I'm just waiting for tomorrow and tomorrow's team sheet because both teams have not got any points on the board. Sunrisers and Mumbai. Both teams lost in a very cruel manner. I would say both teams thought that they had it covered, but somehow they lost it in the end. So when such things happen, the teams are itching to go for towards that next game, and they just badly want those 2 points on the board. So yeah, it should be a good encounter.
What we can promise you is that at the end of tomorrow's game, there'll be one team opening their account for sure.
Yeah.
Well, until then, that's me, Rahul, and Sarvesh from Mumbai signing off. If you like what we're doing, as always, please follow us, please like us, please comment on all our videos. Your feedback is what keeps us going and giving us the motivation to get more content. One last thing before I sign off is you see all these graphics that we present to you. Well, we've got one man and only one man to thank for all of them. That is Sarvesh, who sits and puts up all these numbers, the scorecards, the bowling cards, all those stats that we did in the preview. So if you like what he's doing, he does a lot of that stuff on his personal handle as well and puts out fantastic numbers. So do follow him and do reach out to him if you want any information with regards to any statistics. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for watching, and we will be back with you tomorrow after Mumbai versus Hyderabad.